It was a cloudy Saturday morning in Seattle when Ethan Blake, the reclusive billionaire CEO of a global tech empire, pulled into a modest diner on the outskirts of the city. He wore a faded flannel shirt, rugged jeans, and scuffed work boots. In the back seat of his well-worn pickup truck sat his 6-year-old twins, Jack and Josie, munching on peanut butter sandwiches he had made himself. Ethan had built his empire from nothing after the tragic death of his wife left him widowed with newborn twins. For years, he drowned himself in work, burying his grief beneath business meetings and boardroom decisions. But now, something inside him had shifted. He didn't want his children to grow up seeing life only through mansions and limousines. He wanted them to know humility, real connection, and maybe, just maybe, he wanted a second chance at love. That's when he decided to do something completely out of character. He signed up for a blind date under a fake name, Eli, a single father struggling to make ends meet. No fancy suits, no entourage, no mention of Blake Enterprises, just a humble man raising twins alone. The diner was buzzing with warmth and smells of pancakes and coffee when she walked in. Amelia Hart, a school teacher who'd spent the last 5 years putting her dreams on hold to care for her ailing mother. She looked a little nervous, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear as she scanned the tables. Ethan stood up. Amelia, she smiled, shy, but kind. You must be Eli. They shook hands. Josie peeked from behind her dad's leg. Jack offered Amelia a grape from his sandwich bag. She laughed. I didn't know this was a family date, she said. Ethan blushed. Sorry, my babysitter canceled last minute. I didn't want to reschedule. I hope you don't mind. Amelia kneeled to the twins' level. Not at all. In fact, I love kids. They sat, talked, laughed. Time melted like butter on a hot skillet. Amelia told him about her love for art, how she taught special needs kids and had no clue what TikTok was. Ethan listened, genuinely intrigued. He hadn't felt this human in years. But throughout the date, Ethan noticed something even more remarkable. Amelia wasn't trying to impress. She didn't glance at her phone, didn't pry about his job. She was present, real. Her kindness toward his kids wasn't forced. She helped. Josie wiped jelly off her chin and laughed at Jack's knock-knock jokes like they were comedy gold. Being a teacher must be hard, Ethan said. Amelia shrugged. I get paid in smiles and finger paintings. Ethan smiled. He hadn't laughed like this in a long time. As the date ended, Amelia reached for her purse. Ethan stopped her. My treat. My treat. No way, she said firmly. You've got 2 kids to feed. Let me. He paused. No one had ever said that to him before. Not like that. They walked out into the cool air. The twins hugged her. She hugged them back, pressing her cheek to Josie's tiny curls. I'd love to see you again. Ethan said, heart racing. I'd like that. She replied. They exchanged numbers. 1 month later they met every weekend, sometimes at the park, other times for picnics by the lake. The kids adored her. So did Ethan. He started wondering how long he could keep the truth hidden about who he really was, about the billions, about the empire. One Sunday, while Amelia and the twins painted rocks in the backyard of her small apartment, Ethan sat on her stoop, heart heavy. That night, he asked her, what if someone you cared about lied to you? Not to hurt you, but because they didn't want to scare you away. Amelia looked at him thoughtfully. I'd ask them why they didn't trust me to stay. That answer haunted him. The next morning, Ethan's world collided with Amelia's in the most unexpected way. She was late to school. Her car wouldn't start. A neighbor gave her a ride. As she pulled into the school parking lot, a limousine parked beside her. Out stepped a man in a navy suit flanked by photographers. The principal whispered excitedly. That's Ethan Blake. He just donated $10 million to our school. Amelia turned. Her eyes met his. She froze. Ethan looked at her, paralyzed with guilt. Amelia's face turned pale. She wasn't angry, she was hurt. He walked toward her slowly. I was going to tell you, he said softly. She nodded, but her eyes were glassy. You lied to me, Ethan. I didn't want you to see the money. I wanted you to see me. Tears welled up in her eyes, but you didn't trust that I would. She turned away and walked into the building. Evening. Ethan waited outside her apartment. She didn't come home. It had been 6 days since Ethan last heard from Amelia. Every morning he waited outside the school, hoping to catch a glimpse of her. Every evening he paced his penthouse suite, the silence too heavy, the luxury too meaningless. His twins asked about her constantly. Is Miss Amelia mad at you, Daddy? Josie asked. I think so, honey, he whispered, brushing her hair back. Jack pouted. But we miss her. I know, Ethan said, his voice breaking. I do too. Meanwhile, Amelia sat in her modest apartment, staring at her classroom's thank you cards to Mr. Blake, pinned proudly on the bulletin board. 10 $1 million. The school had been transformed overnight. New books, art supplies, a sensory gym for special needs students. It was everything she had dreamed of, and yet, her heart felt hollow. She wasn't angry about the money. She was angry that the man who had sat beside her during sidewalk picnics and laughed with her over dollar store cupcakes thought she wouldn't love him without the power or title. Asterisk, and then, something unexpected happened. Asterisk, that Friday night. There was a soft knock at her door. Asterisk, she opened it to find Jack and Josie standing there, holding a large box. No Ethan. Asterisk, inside the box were paintings, hers and the kids. Rock art, finger-painted, cards, a note from Josie that read, "We miss you, Miss Amelia. Daddy says he's sorry. Can we still be friends?" Tears spilled down her cheeks. There was one last item in the box. A letter in Ethan's handwriting. "Dear Amelia, asterisk, I know I broke something I may never fix. I wore a flannel shirt, hoping you'd see the real me, but I should have trusted. You could I've built skyscrapers and systems, but never learned how to build trust with someone who truly mattered. Asterisk, you once said you get paid in smiles and finger paintings. I used to think I needed the world's approval, until I saw what really had value in your eyes. I'd give up every dollar just to have a Sunday afternoon with you and my kids in that park again. Asterisk, but I won't beg. You deserve the truth, always. Asterisk, and you deserve someone who believes you'll love him, even when there's nothing left to impress. Asterisk, always. Ethan." Amelia held the letter to her heart. The next morning, she walked into her classroom, and her students gasped. On the whiteboard, someone had written, "Welcome back, Miss Amelia." Beneath it stood Ethan, dressed not in a suit, but that same faded flannel shirt. He held a tray of pancakes and little paper crowns for each student. Asterisk, still trying to impress me with dollar store crafts, she said softly. Asterisk, he chuckled. I remember what matters now. Asterisk, she stepped closer. The room went quiet. Asterisk, I'm not mad that you're rich, she said. I'm hurt that you thought I'd run from the truth. I was afraid, he said. So am I, she whispered. Asterisk, Ethan slowly reached out, brushing a hair from her cheek. Then maybe we can be afraid together. Asterisk, the kids cheered. Asterisk, Amelia's classroom was decorated with flowers, handpicked by the twins. Ethan sat in the back, in jeans and a hoodie, watching her teach, a soft smile on his face. Asterisk, outside the school, his limousine sat idle. He hadn't used it in months. Asterisk, he now walked the kids to school, packed their lunches, and hosted art days at community centers using his wealth to uplift others. Quietly, humbly, anonymously, asterisk, one afternoon, while volunteering, a little girl ran up to Amelia and asked, Are you the lady who changed the rich man's heart? She looked over at Ethan, who was on his knees helping kids paint birdhouses. No, she said, smiling. He always had that heart. He just forgot how to use it. Asterisk, they got married in the very same park where they'd shared their first picnic. No paparazzi, no designer gowns, just family, friends, and the two little flower kids, Jack and Josie, dancing in the grass. Asterisk, at the reception. Ethan stood and raised a toast. Asterisk, people, ask what made me fall in love with her. He said, It wasn't her beauty though. Look at her. It wasn't her kindness, though it saved my soul. It was her belief that the smallest moments matter most. That love doesn't need mansions or titles, just truth. And someone willing to stay. He turned to Amelia. You stayed, even when I didn't deserve it, and because of that, everything changed. Asterisk, message. Asterisk, you don't need wealth to be worthy. The most valuable love comes not when we impress, but when we are real, and still loved anyway.